All right, now this is one of the most important videos I've ever done, and I'm gonna give you a warning. This video will have information in it that could be extremely alarming pertaining to little people. Also, I'm going to use certain words in place of other words due to the level of sensitivity of the topic. So I'll do my best to make sure that you can connect the words that I'm using in replace of another words to make sure that this video can get out. And as you see right here, the title of this article, New HHS Data Confirms Biden-Harris Admin Place tens of thousands of migrant children with unvetted sponsors declined recommended home studies. The number itself is over 300,000. 300,000 children missing, gone. Nobody knows where they are. Now, in this video, you're going to hear from former CIA. You're going to hear from whistleblowers within the Department of HHS, which is Health and Human Services. You're going to hear from Border Czar Tom Homan. So, and you're going to hear from the architect of this whole freaking thing that we're in, this whole debacle that we're in. As a matter of fact, I'm going to start it off with us listening to him. And y'all know who he is, the wretched Alejandro Mayorkas, the former secretary. So I'm going to start it off with this clip, and I want you to listen to this man and see, does he take responsibility for what's going on or not? Was he aware of what was going on with the little people or not? And then after this clip, I'm going to follow it up. What you're hearing about what Tom Homan did, then learn what President Trump did within 4 days. So let's get started with this first clip. Check out this this treasonous individual, and everything in this video is my opinion, and it is alleged. I mean, most of it is factual, but my opinion, due to the level of sensitivity, I want to make that known. But check this out.
ICE was also unable to account for more than 32,000 unaccompanied kids who failed to appear in court from 2019 to 2023, according to the report we read. The incoming border czar, Tom Homan, says these children are being exploited. And is that true?
Well, we certainly, Margaret, we certainly have received reports of children trafficked, even those as to whom we know where they are. That is outside the responsibility of the Department of Homeland Security. Mm-hmm. What we do is we turn children over within 72 hours, as the law requires, to the Department of Health and Human Services, and then HHS places those children. Of course, we investigate cases of trafficking, but there are children who are reunited with a parent here in the United States or a legal guardian, and they move. And sometimes the government loses track. Individuals do not comply with the reporting obligations or otherwise. I think it is inaccurate to say that all of them are trafficked or victimized. There are a number of reasons why we might lose track of an individual. That is not necessarily specific to this administration. That has been a long-standing challenge in the immigration system. One example of why that system is so broken, why the duration of time in proceedings is unacceptably long and has to be remedied. Remember, we're dealing with a system that was last reformed in 1996.
These people are so disgusting. So he's literally trying to lobby for, immigration reform based on the fact that now in this interview, they were talking about it was 32,000 children who they knew where they went. It wasn't with a parent, but they knew who the sponsor was, where they are. The children never showed up to any hearings. Nobody's heard from the freaking sponsors that they were with. So they're gone. They're not at the addresses that were listed. Those are 32,000 children who they knew where they went. There's 300,000, over 300,000 that came through, and they have no idea where they are. Do you know that some zip codes, they say addresses, one address in particular had 100 children sent to it. One sponsor, 100 children. Now, who in their right mind would do that unless you got something nefarious going on? And wait till you hear from the former CIA agent. That's jaw-dropping. Now, listen to what Border Czar Tom Homan has to say. And then we're going to follow it up with what President Trump did within his first 4 days. Check this clip out.
Many of these children are living with, some of these children are in forced sex trade and forced labor. And no one's even looking for them. In my sources of ICE, no one's even looking for them. So I make you this promise. When President Trump's president again, we will go rescue these children and save them.
I asked Donald Trump in my interview with him that I had with Pete and Will at Bedminster, asked him directly, would you locate these children? Will you promise to find the children that the Biden administration has lost? And he told me straight up, that's easy. Absolutely, yes. One last thing I want to note: when you were in charge in charge of Homeland Security and Border Patrol, there was a letter sent by Hillary Clinton, Michelle Obama, and and Laura Bush, all three of them, saying, we're so upset. We're writing this letter to defend the children, to fight for the children that Donald Trump has separated at the border. Where are they now? Shame on them. I appreciate you joining us, Tom. It's really.
So nobody now, when where the children from? Laura Bush, Hillary Clinton, and Michelle Obama. Now, this was during Trump's first term when they did that. Even though Obama and Joe Biden created the cages that actually was separating children at the border from their parents, putting the children in the cages. And that's where AOC went and took that picture where she's crying on the fence until she found out that Trump didn't do that. That wasn't Trump's creation. That was Obama Biden. You notice how you no longer hear any Democrats talking about kids in cages, but that was a big thing going on back then between the 2016 and 2020, if you remember. Now listen to Harris Faulkner as she breaks down what President Trump did within 4 days after the Biden administration had 4 years. Check this out. And then buckle up because you're going to hear from this former CIA agent who's a judge, and it's going to blow your mind. But check this out.
Now, the second wave that Tom Homan, the borders are for, Trump has told me about, and all of this will focus on those missing children, hundreds of thousands of them that we know. And that number has started to already come down, Emily, from 300,000. So they found about 75 to 80,000 of those kids already. If they can get the list of these guys, 4 full days in office for Trump, if they can get the list of where some of those kids have been, and they've been identifying it, since the election, going after them and trying to find those little ones, what in the world was Biden's administration doing? What was Secretary of Homeland Mayorkas doing when he said to the committees on Capitol Hill, we don't know where those kids are, I'll look into it? No, dude, you obviously had a better way to find them, and you didn't do your job. I can't believe they impeached him and didn't remove him.
If you're enjoying this video, do me a solid. Hit that thumbs up because I'll never ask you for a Cash App or a Super Chat or a donation. You hitting that like button, it does help the channel get the video out there. And if you aren't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. And once you do, make sure you hit the notification bell and select all. That way YouTube will make sure you get notified when I upload new videos.
Now,
Yep, they didn't remove them because we had rhino Republicans that voted with the Democrats in the Senate to not remove them. And see, that's the problem, how the Democrats do things, and it's like Republicans do things. It's the worst thing in the world. And you know that Democrats will not hesitate to throw a Republican out of Congress, out of the Senate, in jail. So Pam Bondi has to put the pedal to the metal. She's got to really step up because she was put in place to help us really realize, hey, listen, these bad actors have to pay the price. But if they realize that even a Trump-appointed right-wing attorney general won't do anything, they'll just keep running them up. They take shot. Now, I will say, granted, some of the things, like they did attempt to go after Comey and Letitia James. It was technicalities that threw those out, but Letitia James is being, a case was thrown out, but she's going to be re-indicted again. So I do see them pushing, but we got to get with it. Now, this is the one, okay? Brace yourself because you're going to hear some things in this video that may be alarming to you. May be alarming, but check this out.
People in the United States of America that children in order to tell them. And when they come without birth certificates, which means it's easier to kill them and have no one ask where they are. We're also children by the plane load. Again, children who have no documentation. It's not just child or child. It's also child because you have you have the whole drinking ceremony of the world. It's also the use of children for body. We'll have the Falun Gong testimony tomorrow. One of the reasons that the Falun Gong are so popular is because they're so healthy, so that you can hold their body with and get the very best. And then you have ritual ceremonies and ritual, as well as incidental. But I know the system. I've been a spy all over the world. I have created the Marine Corps Intelligence Command. I have trained intelligence and law enforcement representatives, over 8,000 of them from across 66 countries. They're all, without exception, good people trapped in a bad system. And one of the most wonderful things that this court could achieve, now that we've had Gate, for example, which opened people's mind, is we could achieve an opening of the public mind and an absolute imperative from the public to governments, including the U.S. government, which I think is the center of gravity in so many ways. I have found in my research and preparation for this court and all of the work that will follow that most organizations that end up being used to children. Oxfam is a recent example. All of the United Nations organizations, the Boy Scouts of America, all of the child services agencies across the United States of America, they did not start out as organizations to protect children, but they attract pedophiles. And ultimately, pedophiles end up rising in the ranks and controlling those organizations, so that an organization that initially started out in the service of children becomes an organization that is in fact children. And one of our distinguished commissioners has written an absolutely wonderful book called Hunters, which I recommend to all of you as a brief on this. Now, it's not my working assumption, but the working assumption yet to be proven that the totality of the children worldwide is toward 8 million people, toward 8 million children. In the United States of America, the acknowledged number, not counting the children being bred without birth certificates, not counting the children being imported without documentation, is between 600 and 800,000 a year. Now imagine Africa and East Asia and all these other locations. I personally believe that the number we want to try to document is rising well beyond the official figures, and we have yet to learn what the actual number is. Okay. The other working assumption is, how long do these children survive within this system? What I am hearing from the witnesses that I've talked to is 2 years. It may be longer. It may be 4 years. It may be 6 years. But by and large, these children are so, I mean, we're talking by the hour and so forth, that they reach their expiration date within 2 years. And then they're with impunity, or they're ritually murdered, if that's what.
Wow. I want to take a minute to give a shout out to the sponsor of this video and partner of the channel, Chapter. Now, seniors, right now, you want to make sure that you're paying attention to what's going on with your Medicare, because in January, the prices are going to increase 10%, and that's $215 that'll be taken out of your Social Security check. And you don't have, it doesn't have to be that way. You want to make sure that you have the best Medicare plan available, because some doctors are not going to be a network after the first of the year. Some prescriptions may no longer be covered. You want to make sure that you protect yourself. Call Chapter and speak to one of the highly skilled and unbiased professionals in a free phone call that goes as fast as 20 minutes. In less than 20 minutes, you can get the information to make sure you got the best Medicare plan available, because it would suck to look up next year and find out your doctor's not a network and your prescriptions are no longer covered. So why wait? Call that number on the screen or visit the website at askchapter.org/realpolitics and make sure that you are protected today. Now, like I said, that was heavy. And you heard him make two references. One was to the Falun Gong. Let me show you who they are. The Falun Gong, also known as Falun Dafa, is a spiritual practice that combines meditation and gentle exercise with a moral philosophy centered on the principles of truthfulness, compassion, and tolerance. Sounds pretty cool, really good, right? It was founded by Li Hongzhi in China in the early 1990s and gained millions of followers before being banned and persecuted by the Chinese Communist Party. Now, why would, creating a belief or a philosophy on truthfulness, compassion, and tolerance be banned? Because that's a dictatorship over there. And, getting people to come together and talk about compassion, tolerance, and truthfulness, and having the power to be able to get millions of people to belief, that's a threat to the system of the dictator. Let's look at what it says. Persecution. Initially, and I'm right here, initially enjoying official sanction, tensions escalated with the CCP in the mid-90s following a large peaceful protest in Beijing in April of 1999. The CCP labeled Falun Gong a cult and launched a severe ongoing campaign of propaganda, arrest, torture, and imprisonment of practitioners. It's like I just said. So it went from just getting people together and attracting millions. Now you're doing peaceful protests in Beijing. Again, that's a dictatorship. So you're pushing back against the dictatorship. You're opening people's eyes up that they're being manipulated and being controlled, and that's a threat to the system. So they arrested those people, tortured them, and banned it, and called them an evil cult. Ain't that funny? Don't the Democrats always call Republicans or MAGA a cult? Even though all we're trying to do is make sure that crime is nil or low, that people got enough money to take care of their families and live a comfortable and a good life, that we don't let foreign entities come over and destroy the homeland. Oh, but that's so bad. That's so racist. That's like Hitler. They crazy. Now, the next reference that he made was Pizzagate. Now, I want to show you something. Now, as you see right here, all you see is it says conspiracy, fake news, conspiracy, the rise of this known business game cult following conspiracy. Elon Musk has boasted the conspiracy theory because he boosted it. Conspiracy. Now, look at the dates. That's 2020, 2023, 2017. What's some of the other day? 2023, 2023, and 2016 was our first one. All of these outlets, I seen one for most recent. But this is 6 days ago, conspiracy. And I'm just going to the second page for a reason. You got all of these big outlets, Britannica, Washington Post, false rumor, Time Magazine, conspiracy, Rolling Stone, fake news. One thing I've learned about the fake lamestream media is when all of them are in unison, calling something fake is probably real. And when they're trying to push something to us as real or as good for us, it's typically not. Now, ain't that funny how all of these outlets and publications said that that was fake? But now we learned about Epstein. Now we learned about the Democrats getting money from Epstein, texting with him during hearings, hanging out with him. We hear about the writers from the New York Times that are close buddies with him. We hear about the Obama economic advisors and chief White House counsels that were, consulting with him, getting his feedback, getting help from him. And we know what he was into. And what it was all around. All I'm going to say is go research it. Go look up that word, because I don't even want to say it too many times there, and do your due diligence. Remember, when the left is telling you something is right, it's probably wrong. And when the left is telling you that something is wrong, it's probably right. So use your discernment. Now, I want to let you hear from the whistleblower, Tara Rodas. She worked for the Department for Health and Human Services, the Department of Health and Human Services. And this brave woman risked everything and came out and told what was going on. And this is just a short clip from her. She's got a lot more on YouTube and on X. Check her out because she was on the inside and knows the real deal. But check this out. Oh.
Bravery of Aaron Stevenson. My name is Tara Rodas, and thanks to the bravery of Aaron Stevenson, and thanks to Project Veritas and James O'Keefe for publishing the story, I was sitting on the Pomona Fairplex emergency intake site processing unaccompanied children. So you may know that children were coming to this country from other countries. We were taking them into the care, HHS, and then delivering them to sponsors, unvetted sponsors throughout the United States. So because one whistleblower came forward and because one organization was willing to tell the truth, I was able to then uncover and report that the US government is the middleman in a large-scale, multi-billion-dollar child operation. We literally have government-sponsored, taxpayer-funded child. So one whistleblower coming forward, telling the truth, sets in motion a cascade of things that you could never imagine. So I was very grateful for the opportunity for someone to tell the truth. And who knows, maybe one of you could be the next person to come forward. So along with my buddy Aaron, I'm going to continue to speak the truth until children are rescued, criminals are prosecuted, and the United States government no longer is putting billions of dollars to children. My name is Tara.
So while, we're looking at Democrats fighting for illegal immigrants to stay here just for voting, wouldn't it be something to find out that it's even deeper than that? When you talk about harvesting and you talk about the transportation of little people, not just here, but worldwide, over 300,000, y'all. Now, I'm not accusing anybody within the government of doing this or being personally involved at all. As a matter of fact, this is all just my opinion and this is all alleged. But you're hearing from people that are within the system that are saying this is wrong, that are finding little ones. There's movies made of it, Sounds of Freedom, where you got people going out, brave Americans going out rescuing little ones from the hands of these sick PDFs. So I wanted to bring you this because the lamestream media is not reporting on it. And luckily, outlets like Fox News reports on it, but not many others. And so I want to make sure that nobody forgets, or should I say, I want to make sure that everybody remembers these little people. And I don't care if they're immigrants or not. They have nothing to do with that. They're innocent. They're children. And so I don't hold them accountable for being here. It wasn't their choice. But if they are here, we at least, I don't care where they're from, could be from Mars. we owe it to the children to make sure that they can at least be safe and at least get the opportunity to live and make the decision of where they want to live and where they want to be. Because again, they didn't ask to come here. They didn't ask to even be born. And if their mother and father or their breeder or whatever you want to call it is responsible for the situation that they're in, they need to be held accountable. And Mayorkas and the Biden administration, the ones who facilitated this and let this happen, they do need to be held accountable because we know that they're responsible for it. Now, I'm not saying they don't personally involved in the movements. And you know what I'm saying when I say movements, we get stuck in this when we're driving. We get stuck in it when we're behind another car. I'm not saying anybody within the administration is personally responsible for movement of little people. But what I am saying is their policies, their lack of vetting, their lack of concern is what led to this. And Mayorkas with that smug face, just want to break that man in half. But I wanted to bring this to you. Leave a comment. Tell me, I want to know what you think. How do you feel about it? And if you've stayed and you watched up to this point, you're a patriot and you're somebody who genuinely cares about what's going on, especially with these little ones. So we got to keep this story alive. So if you haven't already, hit that like button. Let's help promote this video. And if you aren't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. Most importantly, make sure that you stay safe and that you be great. I'm Brian Maxwell saying I look forward to seeing you at the top. Over and out, y'all.